The Arcturus station hung in the void like a broken promise, its hull scarred by decades of interstellar conflict. Ray stood at the observation deck, her reflection ghosting across the reinforced plexiglass as distant stars wheeled slowly beyond. She'd been assigned to this forgotten outpost 3 months ago, and in that time, she'd learned that the universe was far larger and more hostile than Earth's propaganda had ever suggested. Contact on approach vector 7, the AI announced in its monotone voice. Single craft. No identifying signatures. Ray's hand instinctively moved to the plasma pistol at her hip. Unidentified ships rarely brought good news this far into contested space. She made her way to the docking bay, her boots echoing through empty corridors that once housed a crew of 50. Now it was just her and Kai, the station's engineer who'd been here so long he'd probably forgotten what Earth smelled like. The airlock hissed open, and Ray tensed. What emerged wasn't entirely unexpected. A Xyrillian bounty hunter, all 7 feet of chitinous armor and mandibles clicking with what she'd learned was their version of a smile. The species had a reputation, efficient, deadly, and utterly without mercy. Human female, it chittered in broken standard. You are Ray Nakamura. Bounty on your head. 20,000 credits. You come with Kresh now. Ray didn't move. I think you've got the wrong person, friend. The Xyrillian's mandibles spread wider. Definitely not a friendly gesture. No mistake. You destroyed Hegemony Supply Depot on Titan 7. Killed Warlord Kresh's brother. That was a military operation, Ray said calmly, and your Warlord's brother should have thought twice before attacking a civilian transport. Kresh's clawed hand moved with surprising speed, producing a device Ray recognized immediately, a Xyrillian thermal grenade. The things were notorious, capable of vaporizing anything within a 10-meter radius. Her heart rate spiked, but years of combat training kept her expression neutral. You come now, or Kresh makes example, the bounty hunter hissed. Station becomes tomb. The grenade sailed through the air in a lazy arc directly toward her feet. Most beings would have frozen, would have thrown themselves backward, would have begged. Ray wasn't most beings. Time seemed to slow. A trick of adrenaline and the combat implants the military had given her during the Rim Wars. She tracked the grenade's trajectory, calculated its spin, estimated the detonation timer, 3 seconds, maybe 4. The Xyrillian expected her to panic, expected her to surrender to save herself. Instead, Ray took 2 quick steps forward and kicked. Her boot connected with the grenade perfectly, sending it rocketing back toward Kresh with twice the velocity. The bounty hunter's compound eyes widened in what might have been shock, a rare expression for a species bred for warfare. Nice try, Ray said, her voice steady as ice. Kresh dove sideways with impressive agility, the grenade sailing past and detonating against the far wall. The explosion was contained by the blast doors, thank God for Kai's paranoid engineering. But the shockwave rattled through the bay. Alarms shrieked to life. Before the smoke cleared, Ray had her plasma pistol drawn, but Kresh was already moving, drawing a wicked-looking blade from its back. The creature charged, mandibles spread wide in a war cry that echoed off the metal walls. Ray fired 3 shots. The first 2 were dodged with serpentine grace. The third caught Kresh in the shoulder, burning through chitin and drawing a screech of pain. But the bounty hunter didn't stop. At the last second, Ray dropped low, sliding across the deck like she was stealing home base. Kresh's blade whistled over her head, and as she passed beneath the creature, she fired upward. The plasma bolt caught the Xyrillian in the abdomen, and it crashed to the deck behind her in a heap of armor and smoking flesh. Ray rose, gun still trained on the fallen bounty hunter. Stay down if you want to live. Impossible, Kresh gasped, greenish blood pooling beneath it. Humans are prey species, soft, weak. Yeah, we get that a lot. Ray kept her distance, watching for any sudden movements. Here's what you're going to tell your warlord. Earth might not have claws or armor or mandibles. We don't breathe methane or see an infrared, but we've survived ice ages and plagues and wars that would make your tribal skirmishes look like playground fights. We're the species that learned to fly by throwing ourselves off cliffs. We split the atom just to see what would happen. And when something scares us, she smiled cold and sharp. We don't run. We study it, we master it, and then we turn it into a weapon. Footsteps echoed from the corridor and Kai appeared, plasma rifle in hand, his dark hair disheveled. Ray, I heard explosions. You okay? Fine, she said, not taking her eyes off Kresh. Just explaining human nature to our guest. Kai glanced at the scorch marks, the wounded Xyrillian, and Ray's casual stance. He'd seen her in action before, but something in his expression suggested he was reassessing just who he'd been sharing a station with. Should I prep the med bay or the brig? Brig, Ray decided. Once he's patched up enough to fly, he's going back to his warlord with a message. Kresh's mandibles clicked weakly. What message, human? Ray holstered her pistol and looked down at the bounty hunter with eyes that had seen too many battlefields. Tell him Earth sends its regards. Tell him we don't negotiate with terrorists. And tell him if he wants that bounty, he'd better bring an army, because one human is clearly more than your kind can handle. As Kai dragged the wounded Xyrillian away, Ray returned to the observation deck. Somewhere out there, Earth was still spinning, still sending its children into the dark to plant flags and dare the universe to push back. They called humanity aggressive, reckless, insane. Maybe they were right, but they were also survivors, and that made all the difference.